This watch I've got here was first purchased by a great-grandfather around the time of the First World War. It was bought at a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was one of the first companies to ever make wristwatches. Back then people only carried pocket watches. It was first bought by Private Doughboy Ryan Coolidge the day he set sail for Paris. It was your great-granddad's war watch. He wore it every day he was in that war. After he'd done his duty, he went back home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off his wrist, put it in a coffee can. And in that can it stayed, till your grandfather, Caine Coolidge, was called up for duty. This time it was the Second World War. This time they were fighting against the Japanese. Your great-granddad gave this watch to your granddad for luck. Unfortunately, his luck wasn't as good as his old man's, and Caine, who was a Marine, was killed, along with all the other Marines at the Battle of Wake Island. Your granddad was facing death, and he knew it. None of those boys had any illusions of ever leaving that island alive. So 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your 22-year-old grandfather took the watch and gave it to a crewman on the Air Force Corps plane, a man named Winaki, a man he'd never met before in his bloody life, to deliver to his infant son he'd never seen in the flesh, his father's gold watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead, but Winaki kept his word. So after the war was over, paid a visit to your grandmother and gave to his infant son his dad's gold watch. This watch was on your dad's wrist when the plane was shot down over Hanoi, and it was put in a North Vietnamese prison camp. Now he knew if those little Chinamen found this watch, they'd take it away and bloody confiscate it. And the way your dad looked at it, this watch is your bloody birthright. You'd be damned if any little greasy Chinaman was going to put his hands on this boy's birthright. So he hid it. The one place he knew he could hide something. His arse. 4 bloody years he kept the watch up his arse until he died of dysentery. He gave me the watch. I kept this bloody hunk of metal up my arse for another 2 years. Then after the war was over, I went home. And now, little soldier, I'll give this watch to you.